understand like expectations and what you should look for in audience-based marketing. It's mostly B2C, okay? There's not a lot of B2B play in the Facebook world. So again, your consumer products. Unlike traditional outbound marketing tactics, hyper-targeted is to the right people. I cannot pound this through your heads enough. This is the key to it. You're targeting the right people. If your audiences are set up correctly, you're only targeting the people that would have an interest in buying it. Facebook is cheap. The price has gone up quite a bit over the last 1 to 2 years. We're really seeing it push. It stinks for small business. But generally speaking, it's still a fraction of the cost as that TV commercial or that billboard or any type of traditional method of marketing. And again, I'm not getting in front of the wrong people. I'm only in front of the people that actually care about my product or service, okay? A big piece of this that we've done in the last year or two that I would recommend that you all do is give stuff away. I have a skincare client. For every $1,000 they spend, they do 12 to 20 grand in sales, okay? What they do that makes them very unique is they give away free consultations constantly. Literally the owner, the woman that owns this company, says, send me pictures of your face and I will tell you which one of my products to buy. So if you have this type of acne, you have this type of problem, it's in this type of area, she literally looks at your face herself and sends you recommendations of her products to buy, okay? It's all templated. Don't think that it's not. Don't think that she doesn't look at specific skin types and put them into groups and have a process. But that offer of, I'm getting her, I'm actually getting the person, the woman, her name's Emmy. I'm getting Emmy, like I'm getting her to give me this. It's free, it doesn't cost anything. You don't have to buy a product. She's giving it to you for free. If you guys are familiar with the First Form model, okay, or supplement superstores here locally, they'll build out an entire diet plan for you. You don't have to buy the damn protein. It's a value add, okay? So they're there for you, they help you, they provide value. The other thing that she does is she gives away bundles of products. So in order to do this, what she'll basically do is we'll run ads for her that say, enter to win XYZ. And I always try to tell people, the more you give away, the better. This is a company that's spending $20+ thousand a month on ads. Who cares about giving away $4,000 of product? The more you give away, we all like free shit. There's nobody in here that doesn't like free shit, okay? We all love it. Give it away. But in order for me to get you in this drawing, you give me your email address. And then what am I gonna do with that email address? I'm gonna email market you, right? I'm going to upload those email addresses back into Facebook and build lookalike audiences so I can find more of those women that care about that skincare, that resonated with what she cares about. Email marketing is everything, guys. You have to have it. You cannot gather email addresses if you're not going to follow up and email your people, your target prospects. Don't get them and let them sit. Try. Try to email. If the data doesn't look good, if the open rates are low, if the conversion rates are low, try something else. You're missing the mark somewhere. We're too scared to pivot. You have to adjust, okay? Understand the data. If you don't understand what a good conversion rate is, Google it. You don't understand what a good open rate is? Google it, okay? All your answers are out there. Last piece, consumers don't want to be advertised to. This is something that it's really frustrating for me to see that people don't understand. I see businesses hire major production companies. They come in, they spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. They set up cameras and they do all this crazy stuff. It's just over the top. Understand something. We don't want to be advertised to, okay? Nobody wants to be advertised to. Nobody. We fast forward to TV commercials these days, right? Who the hell, if you DVR a show, you watch the commercials? No, because you want to be advertised to, right? So I'm in the RTA syndicate. I'm assuming you guys are probably familiar with it. And I believe, was it last year? 2 years ago, Kevin O'Leary? I can't remember. Sometime in the last 2 years. Kevin O'Leary, if you don't know who he is, he's off of the show Shark Tank. Mr. Wonderful, he's a big asshole. I love him. He talked about how he has, like, don't quote my numbers, like 125 companies. And he had this media team of like 60 or 70 people or something like that. And he talked about how he got rid of almost every single one, like he had 6 left. We talked about how they got rid of all this high-end production equipment, everything they had, and they use iPhones now. For 100 plus companies, his media team uses iPhones for like 90% of what they do. These iPhones, Androids, if you're an Android person, the cameras and the capabilities on them these days, that's what you need, and it looks more raw. Raw means real. It's better to stutter, believe it or not. It's better to stutter. I've actually had some laughs with Jason Kane, who works closely with Andy, about First Forms ads. Like, they put typos in them sometimes just so people comment. Like, hey dude, you know how to spell that? It helps engagement, okay? But these are the types of things that being real and authentic makes you real and authentic. It makes you more adaptable. It makes your product more relatable. We don't want TV commercials. We want people. People do business with people, okay? Split test, split test, split test. Just like I was talking about your emails, understanding the data, understanding the open rates, understanding the conversion rates. If you don't understand these things and you're running these methods of marketing, you need to learn them. If you don't know good from bad, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You don't know if your performance is good or bad. You have to split test everything through your entire funnel. We get caught up in split testing our ads. Yes, split test your ads. You don't know what that means. Change the image, keep the same copy. Change the copy, keep the same image. Tweak your audience. If you can market to women 21 to 60, try segmenting out different groups and just target 21 to 30. Try different language for them. Quite frankly, a 21-year-old and a 60-year-old don't speak the same damn language, right? So segment your ads out, segment your emails out. Data is king. You have to understand it. If you don't understand it, you're flying your plane blind. You have to understand your data. Split test, split test, split test every single piece of the funnel. Now that we know the two different types of marketing, the last thing I wanted to share with you guys, then I'll open up Q&A. Agile marketing. What is agile marketing? My agency functions on agile marketing. It's something that I put in place 5 years ago now. I'm seeing more and more agencies do it. It is something that I would recommend that if you are controlling your own marketing to follow this philosophy. If you're working with an agency, I would encourage you to control that relationship where you're working it this way with them. The most simplistic way to put agile marketing into play is aggressively pivoting, okay? Campaigns die. You can have the best Facebook ad campaign ever. Crazy click-through rates, crazy conversion rates. It can be literally the best performing ad in the history of ads. It will die. It will die. It might run for a month, might run for a year. It will die. You have to understand, again, data and your metrics. You have to be able to pivot at any time. So the majority of the story of agile marketing is having that ability to objectively evaluate your campaigns and pivot as you need to, okay? Monthly and big picture budgets. When we talk about specifically on the audience marketing side of things, this wouldn't really happen on the intent marketing side of things. But on the audience-based side of things, you do build out that ad, and it explodes. You're like, holy shit, I've never seen sales like this before. What would you do if you could at that point? Put more money into it. If it's working, run with it while you can. So have monthly budgets set aside, then have this little nest egg that's like the holy shit nest egg. Like, if this thing takes off, I'm plowing every dollar that I have into this until it ends. And then when it ends, he's smart enough to understand it's over. Pull the plug, okay? Ready to pivot. Focus on the data. You cannot do this. You cannot run effective digital marketing campaigns if you don't understand data metrics. You're wasting your time, you're wasting your money, you have nothing to evaluate against. You have no idea what is normal per se or not. You have no idea if you're underachieving or overachieving. You have to understand data. If you don't understand these acronyms, learn them. ROAS, return on ad spend. I told you my client, I've got a skincare client, 12 to 20x. Every $1,000 they spend in ads, they make $12 to $20,000 worth of sales. That is their ROAS, return on ad spend. CPL or CPS, cost per lead, cost per sale. If I'm selling something and my net profit on it is $20, how much is it costing me to sell it? If it's costing you $10, it might be okay. If it's costing you $2, even better. If it's costing you $40, not so good, right? The last one, CLV. This is one thing that I see so many business owners overlook, and this is super important. We get so caught up in, I spent $5,000, I made $5,000. Not good, right? We broke even. But think about your product or your service. How many people come back and buy it again? And after I know who you are and what your business is, what your service is, what your product is, I'm going to come back and buy it again. So even though it looks like I spent $5,000 and I made $5,000, the people that spent $5,000, if your product or your service is worth a shit, they're going to come back and buy again. And those are free. You don't have to market to get those sales. They come back because your product or your service spoke for itself. CLV, customer lifetime value. Probably the most underrated metric of understanding digital marketing and performance that there is. You have to understand what your customer is worth over the lifetime of them being your customer. Reverse engineer your sales and leads sources. Attribution, okay? You have to know where your sales and leads are coming from. This goes back to the data thing. Joe Smith comes in from a Facebook ad, he buys, let me back up, Mary Smith, assuming we're dealing with mostly female-oriented businesses. Mary Smith sees your ad, she comes and buys your product. I want to know where the hell Mary came from. You have to have your data that you're tracking clearly established and reverse engineer Mary all the way back to the source, okay? You need to know where she came from because wherever she came from worked. Again, put more money into it. Pivot your money within your portfolio. Understand the data. Commit to the process in the long run. Specifically when we talk about search engine optimization, that amazing, horrible thing you can invest in. Okay, it's a long-term thing. So are Facebook ads, guys. Like, there's so much misconception of, I'm just gonna go put up my Facebook ads and I'm gonna make a shit ton of money. Show me. Does it work like that? Sometimes. We've actually had a couple clients here recently that just absolutely killed it out of the gate. It is most certainly not the norm, okay? You have to have patience. It takes time. People need to see your brand or your product on average 10 times before they buy. You need 10 touch points. That could be 5 ads and 5 emails. That could be they saw your ad 7 times and 3 emails. But 10 times is the rule of thumb of how often or how many times somebody needs to see your ad before actually making a purchase. The more money that you put into these ads, the faster that you get the data, the faster that you can pivot, the faster that you can optimize, the more efficient that your money starts to work for you, okay? So again, understand that when you look at your budget. There is no set and forget it in this game, period. Like I said, you can have the most amazing ad in the world, it will die. It will die. Don't think you're gonna ride the train. Be looking and preparing for your next ad while your current ad is kicking ass. Don't worry about fulfillment. I mean, you gotta fulfill. But I'd be worried about my next ad. How am I gonna maintain this? How are we gonna maintain this level of sales? So again, looking ahead, and then again, split test, split test, split test, split test. I cannot say that enough. You don't just build out an ad, build out a landing page and let it go and hope that it works. Or if it is working, just ride the train. It will bite you in the ass. Next thing you know, you're losing thousands of dollars because you weren't prepared. Okay? That is Agile Marketing.